We're birds of a feather, the seagulls of cheer. We both love the ocean, the mountains, and beer. Won't you share your art with me? Even though so far apart we'll be, won't you have a heart to heart with me?
So guys, it's time for week 6 of the Global Music Match project. This bringing together, it's the final week of this project that brings together artists from all around the world, collaborating, creating, introducing each other. And it is so fitting to introduce to you for this final week our good friend Adyn Townes from Canada. And Adyn, like me, is a storyteller and seasoned songwriter, and I'm so proud and happy to introduce you guys to our friend from Canada, Adyn Townes. Welcome to the Heart to Heart.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's lovely, and it's been such a trip for us, hasn't it?
Oh, it's been wild. I mean, in both ways, it seems like this has been the longest and shortest 6 weeks of my life.
Yeah.
And I'm really like I'm disappointed to see this kind of coming to a close, but it's been such a great experience getting to know you and everybody else in our team, and all of the things that have come out of it have really kind of inspired me to continue, to like not procrastinate during this weird time and to get back to songwriting and reminded me of why I love what I do.
It really pushed us, didn't it?
It really did. Yeah.
And it also, like, what I love about this, like we've invested 6 weeks or more of our lives into this project, and what we get back from this is friendship, new friendships, new connections, like people that we're gonna know for the rest of our lives through the art, and
Yes. I mean, honestly, when I think of you in my head, it is like you are my ride or die, and that we have been like, best buds for my entire musical career and just my life in general. So, and that's the wonderful part of sometimes these accelerated programs and meetings, and it was also, not really normally a time where you're going to get to meet people from around the world and form these real connections. And thanks, so much to the Global Music Match for facilitating something that truly seemed like not possible.
Yeah, I think that's like a guiding emotion that I have, is like this gratitude. I think that we all felt this drive to really work hard. Yep. And to not let each other down. And I think that's also the thing that builds trust between artists, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And this has also made me a bit of a morning person.
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, the weekly meetings because we have people in Canada and Australia, which are basically dipoles or whatever, the farthest parts away in the world. And so can't be too late, for Fanny, can't be too early. And those weekly meetings. And I really like them. I get up and like carry about my day instead of sleeping and like waking up with weird dreams.
Yeah, for me, it's always at noon. So I just kind of just wear a sweater and nothing else and just like attend your meetings. And
Well, a little secret, and this is the only interview so far that this is in fact the case, but I am currently wearing gym shorts as well.
That is cool. That is
like, I've never tried to pull this off, but my jeans are packed away for this trip I'm going on. And obviously we kind of last minute made this happen. And underneath here, I just have these, I mean, they're very nice shorts. Like, but
I bet.
Yeah, I've got like,
nice. You don't have to show it. It's just, we'll keep the image. Just like, it's better. Just leave it to the imagination for everyone.
So I'm based out of the east coast of Canada. And that's such a wonderful spot, to, be a musician. We have an awesome music community where I'm inspired by how amazing so many artists are in such a diverse way, so many different genres, stories, and everyone is very supportive. We have the East Coast Music Association, which is very supportive, governing body over, the music community. And we have a great awards conference every year where it's just going and spending 4 days with your best friends and being inspired. And so I feel very blessed to be from there.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. And I mean, the nature there is also amazing to witness. You're around Halifax and around that area?
Yeah, so New Brunswick is the province that is right next to Nova Scotia and a bridge away from Prince Edward Island, and a long 17-hour boat ride away from Newfoundland, which all of those places are just absolutely beautiful. Those are the Atlantic provinces. And New Brunswick has, some of the most beautiful scenery. Absolutely. If you are a fan of leaves changing in the fall and so many trees that you just feel so engulfed in their beauty, I mean, New Brunswick is the spot to go.
I need to come and visit, man. My great grandfather Leif Eriksson actually went there, and he was not impressed or something, but he was like a dick. So
right, yeah, okay.
He was like
can't trust that guy.
He was like a hipster,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I found America before it was cool.
Right. Can't trust that guy.
You can't trust those hipsters, man.
No.
Never trust a hipster.
I'm more of a beer fan.
Yeah, me too. Well, you do have quite some good craft beers in Canada.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, what a time to be alive if you are a fan of independent craft breweries. And it's amazing. I mean, some of the stuff on the East Coast that comes out of in terms of breweries and all of that stuff is incredible. So they're a very just give a little shout out. There's a couple breweries in New Brunswick. Picaroons is amazing if you ever get a chance to try it. Greystone is amazing, and Grimross. All of those are great.
Yeah, we're just starting this in Iceland. We have a couple of breweries. I want to actually make sure that every little town, every small town in Iceland has a little brewery.
Good.
Yeah. But man, you really, it sounds like Iceland and New Brunswick have a lot in common about the sea, the closeness to the sea, this kind of maritime traditions, and ideals.
Yeah, especially spots like Cape Breton, and obviously New Brunswick has beautiful ocean views and all of that stuff. And there's this feeling that I get when I look at the ocean in particular. Just I could sit and watch it for hours, days on end, and there's something so soothing about it and deep. And a lot of, just because I grew up around the ocean, I do feel that sincerity and stuff that I try to put into my songs is reflected from those really the deep thinking that happens when I look at the ocean or when I'm in nature. I really love all of those things a lot, and as I get older they seem to be even more important to me. This has been a little bit difficult because during all of this, obviously travel is restricted in a lot of ways, and I'm kind of craving seeing new spots and going those places. So that's 100% the way that I feel. I if I'm away from the ability to go to the water for too long, it really does start to weigh on me. Now, if I can't go to the water, but I can go to the mountains, because like out west there are, you know, beautiful mountain ranges. That's okay. You know, I also love the mountains. I just like anything, weirdly enough. And I also, when I was younger, I and still today love looking up at the stars. And I think the reason why is I love anything that reminds me how small I am. And I don't know why, but it's always been this big source of comfort and kind of makes me feel somehow more important, you know, that like, I honestly don't even know if I could explain it, but the more I'm reminded that I feel, or that I am playing a small role in something great, makes me feel important.
That is, man, that is exactly how I feel about these things. This feeling of insignificance is so liberating.
Yeah.
You know, because all of a sudden you don't feel this horrible responsibility that you are so important, which in turn makes you so free and in turn important, because your
Right.
freedom gives you so much flexibility to create and be and interpret.
Yeah, and I also think when you see like just the magnificence that are those, like, you know, huge landscapes or the stars, like there's just so much left to discover and to figure out. And I think that also is like, because if you had all the answers, I mean, really, like, what do you do? And I think why being a musician is equal parts super challenging and super rewarding is because just when you kind of start to think that you've got it figured out, you realize, whoa, I really have so much to learn. And I think those reminders sometimes are little gut punches,
Yes.
but then figuring it out is that next step forward. And somebody told me one time, you know, that music is not a short game, that music is a long game. And, you know, both of us have been in this industry for a long time. And it's like, you got to just keep your head down and keep moving forward and believing in what you do.
Yeah, yeah. We call it slowly gliding luck, or you know,
I like that.
or like slowly gliding fortune. So it's like gliding up, sigandi lycka.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like if you were going up a river on a billy.
Yeah, exactly. Tuk, 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 tuk.
Nice and slow.
Yeah. Woo-hoo, with like a little pipe, like corn cob pipe.
Oh, I feel like you could rock a pipe really well.
Yeah, I aim at starting smoking like around 60.
Anytime anybody ever like asks me for a cigarette, you know, I always say I'm trying to start. So that's funny that you just said I'm aiming at starting around 60.
Man, I think you'd love it here, because with the mountains and the sea, where you were talking about, like, Iceland is nothing but mountains and sea, and there's like a tiny strip between that we live on. It's like this green, we call it like the green strip.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so you have both mountains and sea everywhere you go.
Yeah, you know, I feel sometimes like technology and that ability to always have the answers really does counteract the purpose of being a human being on this planet, which is to discover and to ask questions. You know, there was someone said one time that if, you know, Einstein had been distracted, you know, while he's creating some of these things, I think there was I think it's him, it might be Newton, I'm not exactly sure, but I believe when the theory of relativity was being formed, he had seen a ripple in the water just while he was sitting watching the water. And the idea that, you know, currently maybe he missed that because he got a text, or, you know, like all of that stuff it just seems like I long for the days when nobody really knew anything and had to figure it out. I feel sometimes like I would just have loved, to live in another time, a time before this one.
Yeah, when everybody seems to have everything figured out or something.
Well,
Technology is
just
such a
just
buzzkill.
like, well, kind of like, I watch like medieval, like shows and things like that. I have a degree in history, and I just, aside from the famine and the treatment of the poor, the treatment of, women and all of those things that were not okay.
You get a paper cut and you die of dysentery. And
Yeah. So aside from those terrible things, if I could live in medieval times, but still have like proper rights for, women and gay and trans people, then that would seem like a good time to be alive.
it was just like a voice in the darkness and a candle, and your imagination. That was it.
Yeah. The imagination thing is, I don't think you can lose that. I don't think people can lose that. And I would love to just figure out a way to put my phone away, just put it away.
One thing I really love to do is just to lie to people, like randomly about stuff, about really unimportant stuff.
Like that you don't know who Jack Black is.
Yes.
Right.
And that people in Iceland sometimes live in glaciers and stuff like that, like glacial caves.
Yeah.
And just to like put little seed in their minds of a different idea, and it's harmless. It's harmless. They're not gonna just like get hit by a car because of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it might just like spark a different way of seeing the world.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Bard. I would love to be a bard.
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 You'd be a good bard.
Yeah. A lovely bard.
I'd like to be a jester.
Yeah.
I'm actually quite good at juggling.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Could you do some juggling later? Just show us.
Geez, with I've got some dog toys I'm sure I could do it with. You want to wait 1 second? One second.
Yeah.
Puppies, my puppy's toys, but hold on.
Entertain us, Jester. Entertain us.
No, I dropped them. 1 second. Disaster. Hold on. Yeah, see, I'm doing a good job. That's what a jester would do.
That's going in.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, that's it.
You're hired.
You're hired. Entertain me.
For the queen.
I love that. That's the thing with the jester and the bard and the that kind of our role as troubadours.
Mm-hmm.
Is that we get to speak uncomfortable truths.
Now my dogs are really excited. They just got up and they're like, wait, is it playtime? Because I was pretty sure you were at work.
You got two beautiful dogs, don't you? You want to introduce them to us?
Sure. Come here, Finn. You haven't been on any of these yet. Okay, so this is Finnegan.
Finnegan. Hello, Finnegan. Oh my God, you're adorable. Oh my God. Okay, can he do the rest of the interview? Hello, my name is Finnegan.
Look at that little guy.
Hello.
And he has a twin brother.
Oh.
Who's a hi, Darby. Come here, sweetie. Oh, don't roll over.
Wait, what? He has a twin brother? Wait, you just bring the same dog.
No, he's different. He's different. Dog. He's different, isn't he?
It's just one dog.
No, look at those. Look at those nice teeth.
Hello, what's your name?
My name is Darby.
Hello, Darby. Oh, like Derbyshire. Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't believe you. You only have one dog and you just switch them.
I would pick them both up at the same time, but they've gotten kind of fat recently, and Shih Tzus. Their breed is Shih Tzu, and Shih Tzus kind of run between 9 pounds and 18 pounds.
You know what
they've
love?
Always been they're heavy set Shih Tzus.
Yeesh.
And they've put on a little pandemic weight, and I'd say they're closer to 19, 20 pounds. So picking both of them up for someone who doesn't do a lot of exercise currently is a challenge.
Sure, man, dude, like, yes, I get that. This is wonderful though. Like we can use COVID-19 as such a good excuse for everything. Yeah, well, I gained some 10 kilos.
Yeah.
COVID. Yeah, and everybody's gonna understand. Yeah, I totally failed my children and neglected them, and I got really depressed and kind of didn't bathe for weeks. COVID.
Like, oh yeah.
COVID.
Yeah. Cause of COVID.
Because of COVID.
Hashtag.
COVID made me do it.
Yeah, I remember when this all did start, I was like, oh, well, like this is fine. I'll just like run 30 kilometers a day and I'll have like a 6-pack, and instead I have probably run 30 kilometers since it started and drank several 6-packs.
Oh, me too. Yep. Well, the 6-packs, but I ran a little bit more. I love running. You like running?
I love running too. No, I genuinely I used to run all the time. And my goal in July of this year would have been to run a marathon. But once I had the pressure of doing that taken off in March, I decided, you know what, let's really dive into doing nothing.
It's good though.
I'm going to come on one of those pre-show runs with you that you do one of these times.
I have to recommend this to you, man. And to every artist that is watching this, if you like to run or like do some kind of activity, involve your fans in it. Mm-hmm. Like, because a lot of the time after the show, you're tired. You're not at your best to be involved and to engage with people. Mm-hmm. But before the show at 5:00, doing a run together in a park or something, it really brings people together and it gives you purpose and really you get to know them. And it's so great to get on stage and just go like, hey, recognize a couple of people there.
I like that.
It's such a good way to connect.
Yeah, it seems like a really good way. And also to like stay in shape.
Yeah, through touring, because like touring can actually really affect your health.
Yeah, it can. Every time I go on tour, I say I'm going to pack these healthy sandwiches, and every time I end up either not eating or going to McDonald's.
And drink a lot of beer.
Well, I do that at home too.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, when I sit down to write a song, I'm not somebody that walks around with a notebook and writes down deep thoughts. I kind of have always, since I started my career, like just picked up the guitar and the melody and the words or particular phrases, they'll either match and they'll become something, or they don't, and they just kind of poof, the guitar gets put back down. And so I think that's fun because I never really know what I'm going to get. Sometimes when I pick up the guitar, I always kind of think about how many songs are in the guitar. And I think that this particular guitar still has a lot in it. And when I pick it up, sometimes 2-3 times in a row, the ideas I come up with, the melodies and the little phrasings or whatever, they're all genuine. They're all there. And then once I have kind of like a line or a subject matter that that just came out of me, then I dive into that feeling and try to understand the story. And sometimes my songs kind of like let me know kind of what they're about kind of halfway through the process. And then that's really kind of fun because it is that discovery and like being surprised that you feel this way or that you've have this feeling in your heart. And everything that I do is genuine. All of the lyrics, lyrics are my most important thing because I feel like if they're not true to the artist, then how is anybody ever going to truly connect with them? And if you aren't genuine, why pretend like you are, Plus, every time I sing the songs, they're like a healing thing for me. I am someone that does seem, to gravitate towards those deeper kind of sad or lost emotions. But I think that that's more than okay, because if I sat down and something happy came out, I would never resist it, you know? Like I don't try to perpetuate one way or the other. I just let it come out. If it needs to be said, I will say it.
Yeah, man, it feels like talking to like a doppelganger or something, man. It's like man, it's exactly the way I write and how I approach my lyrics and melodies and everything.
I
It's
love that.
cool. It's amazing.
I think it's time we got away, so don't keep me waiting. We'll be ghosts inside a frame, forever waving. If I'm lost along the way, will you keep me straight in?
I play a couple of Taylor acoustic guitars, and when I write on those, I normally feel like, you know, the songs are a little bit more like melodic, and often start out kind of in a more strummy or slow finger picked kind of way. But I hurt myself in 2015. I tore my rotator cuff, and I had to take like a year and a half off music. And it was a real search of self-identity, who I was as a musician. Ended up actually rebranding as Adyn Townes, but that's a different story. And I couldn't hold an acoustic guitar anymore, so I bought an electric guitar. And now I have this hollow body or semi-hollow body electric guitar by a brand called Eastwood Guitars. It's an airline tuxedo, and when I pick it up, it doesn't need to be plugged in. You know, it has good sound on its own. And there's something about it. There's an edginess to it. And definitely the songwriting between an acoustic guitar and that guitar are very different. And if I'm feeling a particular, you know, mood, sometimes I try an idea on an acoustic guitar and say, you know, I don't really feel it. Move it over, play the exact same thing, and somehow my words and my perspective has changed.
Man, that is you should try a ukulele too. It's
Yeah,
so
I would
much
love
fun.
to. I would love to learn how to play ukulele. I've never really spent much time with it, but every time I've recorded an album, there has always been a ukulele in the studio, and every time that I'm not doing something, it like finds its way into my hands. And like by the time the album is done, I start to think I might, you know, be able to be good at this. And then I go 2 more years before I ever see a ukulele again.
I kind of fell in love with the ukulele because it's such an underdog of the instruments. You know? Oh, hey, I use Seagull a lot.
Oh yeah, I like that
My
brand.
guitars of choice. It's a Canadian
Nice.
brand.
Yeah, no, that's really nice. Look at that. Seagull, if you're looking for any Icelandic artists to sponsor, may I introduce Slavar Kanutor.
Yeah. All right. No. Yeah, I love Seagull, man. It's got such a like balanced sound too.
Mhm.
Really good like mid range and all of that.
You know, there's been songs that I've had fully written and that I've really liked and have, you know, I think the biggest challenge for an artist of any, you know, whether it's music or painting or dance is sometimes it's really hard to get away from your first like draft, your first thought, because like you get excited about it. And when you mentioned that tree branch, you know, like you can take a song, you know, at the fork in the road to the left and going back to that fork and seeing what might be on the right is something I've only really tried a few times, and I found it very, very hard, but I have had the best success with it, you know, and it's like, I think that it's really cool now to sometimes sing a song that no one knows that there was, you know, an entire other version of it, different words, different melody, and having them, you know, say, I love this song, and knowing secretly, oh, you should hear how it used to be.
No, yeah. I love doing that. Just like totally inverting the song.
Yeah, it's
just
hard.
deconstructing it and just exploring a new way.
And you mentioned math. I always write too with very like, normally I like to write, I see things kind of in colors, and like I like when all of the colors in my mind like look are the same. But also normally what is needed for me to see them that way is that almost mathematically they align, you know, the um, just the structure, the way that they're sung, or, you know, having the meanings of words be inverted in the next verse, or, you know, something like that. And I find like I am someone that has, you know, a pretty strong, like love of patterns and like, you know, just all that stuff, probably OCD and everything, but
How musician-like of you to like patterns.
and to just have like disorders and
Yeah.
yeah, it is.
Oh man, Adyn, we are running out of time, I realize, but I would like one thing I would really like to come out of this whole project is if we could kind of Shanghai you over the pond over to maybe England or Scotland, and I could just fly over and we could like do a concert with maybe Lucy and Brayback, just like because it's so close, everything there,
It's a
and
dream. That would be amazing, and I am so there.
and
I
if
will.
Fanny and the canzoniere Grecanico Salentino would like to come too, we could like all just come together in Edinburgh or something like that.
That would be great. And Edinburgh is probably one of my favorite places I've ever been, because I obviously I spoke of medieval, you know, like the idea of castles and all of that stuff, and I also love Harry Potter. So like, you know, it's a
Oh,
it's
that
a
little
pretty awesome
street,
spot.
the little like street that goes up the hill
Yeah,
with all the
Diagon Alley.
yeah, it's such a
Yeah,
cool street.
such a cool street.
Was there just this year in February? That was my last tour. But
Oh, cool.
on the way there, my friend, you have to make a stopover in Iceland.
Oh,
It's free with Icelandair. You can actually just fly to Iceland, get in the hot tub with me for like 3 days. You know, get well marinated in the Icelandic hot springs, and then we go south.
What do you mean it's free?
It's like a free stopover. So if you're flying from Canada, you fly through Iceland and you get like 3 days stopover in Iceland, and you fly to England. It's the same price as flying straight to England.
I am coming.
Yeah.
I'll wear the shorts that I'm wearing in this interview in that hot tub with you.
You're always welcome, my friend.
Yeah, well,
Also,
likewise. Yeah, and it's an album that I'm really proud of. You know, I just as a little backstory, so I had 3 full-length albums prior to that under my given name, which is Andy Brown. And then after the fall literally speaks to this moment where I fell in the ocean in Cape Spear, Newfoundland, and, you know, nearly drowned, ended up hurting myself, like I mentioned, and had to take all of this time off. And so all of those songs were kind of conceptualized during this period where I wasn't sure if, you know, I was going to really be playing music again, that like I said, I couldn't hold an acoustic guitar, and kind of went through all of those stages of depression and, you know, those kind of things. And after the fall is about leaving those things in the water, you know, and that's why I was like, let's start with a fresh, you know, name, and a fresh approach on songwriting, music, life in general. And it's an album where when I sing, you know, the songs from it, it really kind of reminds me of how far, you know, things have come since before going in that water.
So it's like a work of catharsis, of exploration and reinvention, and
Yes.
kind of exploring, you know, what this trauma, you know, and how to recovery from this kind of mental and physical trauma.
Yeah, and I also, you know, before going into before that incident, I was someone who was starting to make music not fun, and kind of seeing kind of like I get to do all of these great things, and but not really appreciating them, being in the moment, and just kind of assuming that, well, I'm going to get to come back here. And kind of after that injury, I realized, nothing is given, nothing is expected. And all of these wonderful places that you've gone, if you ever get to go again, really take it in, and that's what I'm trying to do. When I said that I try to change my approach on life, it really was to like recognize that the ability to make music a career is such a gift that, like, don't besmirch it by approaching it from a negative perspective. And like it's a work in progress every day to just try to be a happier, more positive person. And obviously this year has been a challenging time for that, but every day I try to truly focus on it.
But I think we're all there, and it's so great to have this kind of support from other artists. I think that's the beauty of the global music match, is that we all recognize this kind of struggle that we're going through.
Yeah,
And
and
we support each other.
I started a new album in January of this year, and it is mostly done. There was a little bit left to do that has been put on hold and is still currently on hold. But I have new music coming out hilariously on my birthday, which is October 30th. It's an EP, which is it's just going to be 4 of the songs from the full-length album, and I'm really excited because they are, again, they're a step forward. They're different than I've really written. 2 of the songs are already out, but I'm really excited about it, and just learning and being a person in this crazy world.
That's the beauty, man. And it's your sophomore album, the one you're working on right now. That it's scheduled, like you're planning to release it next year, February.
Yeah, well, I actually have pushed that back. It's a year of pushbacks, but I'm releasing it as 3 4-song EPs, culminating in the full length. Kind of being also put out and packaged in vinyls and stuff.
I'm doing the same thing.
Oh yeah, well, I think it's really, it's fun to be able to like, kind of consistently release new music, which is also kind of what the world, and not the world, but particular streaming platforms kind of require of artists these days. But it's also fun to kind of let your fans hear what you're working on and get that feedback kind of in real time. And so, yeah, so that will the full length will probably be a little more close to the end of spring. Not really sure. I don't know. It's hard to come up with timelines, but basically new music coming consistently between now and, well, moving forward permanently.
Cool, man. I'm so happy for you with that.
Thank you. I'm really proud of it. It's going to be.
Regarding the song lengths, you're saying like, 3:30, like all that stuff. If people can't be bothered to listen to a 4-minute 30 song, well, maybe they just don't need it. Maybe they don't deserve it.
I would hug this computer screen if I could. That's true. And I do try. I never cut a song down just to make it fit in a box. Organically now, my songs do just seem to come out a little bit quicker, which has been something that, like, condensing the things I have to say into a more concise like length. I wish that in general in my life that I condensed the things I said, because I talk a lot, but got a lot to say.
You're a storyteller. You're a bard, man. You're a true bard. That's what you are.
As a jester.
That's it. All right, Adyn, thank you so much. And, good. Have a safe journey. You're going on a little bit of a trip right now through the most beautiful, one of the most beautiful areas in the world, northern Ontario and all the way west to Calgary, right?
Yep. Yeah. It's going to be a surprise. By the time that my parents see this interview, I will be I will have already surprised them.
Most surely. Well, Adyn, thank you so much. And guys watching, I am so convinced that you are going to appreciate Adyn Townes' music um, from the same place in your hearts that you kind of have figured me out, because it is very, very clear from our talk that we come from the similar place when we are writing, and when we are performing. So, my comrade in arms, Adyn Townes, safe journeys, and thank you for the global music match. Thank you for doing this with us.
Thank you, Svavar.
Bye, man.
Bye.
Safe trip.
See you.
See you, man.
Won't you have a heart to heart with me?